Now, this week I'm doing another huge Eicr. People always ask me, how much do you charge? How much do you charge? I normally charge per circuit, per board, per bonding conductors checked, and it's obviously a different rate for commercial than it is for domestic. I allow myself enough time to adequately test each circuit, you know, giving yourself plenty of time to ascertain the designation of the circuit and then perform the full range of tests. That's what I like to do. Other people are different, but that's how I like to do. But yeah, all this week I'm doing this one, so keep an eye out. Someone's been cutting padlocks to energize circuits. Naughty, naughty. I do like getting stuck into these big Eicr'S, finding out where everything's fed from. I'll do a little schedule as well of what board feeds what. Really getting to know the place. Like, you end up knowing it better than the clients, because you're like little rats running around all above all the ceilings, under the floors. So yeah, I love getting stuck in. So I'm going to start killing supplies, finding out what feeds what, turn everything on, and yeah, we'll see where we get to.
Checking, you heard me at 6, it appears to be.
Yeah, got it. Just noted it down. I'm running Easy Cert on my iPad. Yeah, you got to pay a little bit extra for it, but it's really nice. I do also like Electroform, a different certification software for different installs, in my opinion. I really love Easy Cert for when you do Eicr'S and big 3-phase installs. Electroform is a little bit more, good for like Eicr'S for domestics and landlords and stuff like that. But yeah, I love this. That to me looks like through crimps and tape. Right, just testing this circuit, 12 TP, which feeds a contactor, 4-pole contactor, but 3 of the poles, 1 or 2 or 3, then go and feed a 3-phase consumer unit, which is fed via an SWA, but somewhere between here and that consumer unit, there is a twin and earth daisy chained off of it, which then goes and feeds a single-phase board down the end. And then there's on the 4th pole of this 4-pole contactor, this also feeds a consumer unit. So there's 3 consumer units. We've got a 3-phase one and a single-phase one. Somewhere dodgily, perhaps, I haven't found it yet, daisy chained off of the load of this SWA. And then the 4th pole then feeds a single-phase consumer unit up here, all fed via, there's a special switch, which does the contactor, which then controls 3 boards. Primarily doing lighting. There is a couple of sockets on there, so I'm assuming that when it was first installed it was probably purely lighting, but then as time's gone on it now does sockets and stuff, so basically no one touches the switch. But yeah, just wondering what you guys would code. I'll just say the single phase board, not that it makes much difference, but the single phase board on this 4th pole, which feeds this board here, is fed from its own RCPO here. So the supply side of the contactor goes down into the contactor here, and once this switch is flicked, is energized, brings in the A1 contact, comes out on the load side and goes down into that stuffing gland and feeds that board. So that's got its own protection. That's got its own protection for the 3-phase board. However, there is a single-phase board somewhere between here and the 3-phase board over there that someone's daisy chained on to feed a single-phase board down the end, all fed via the control circuit here, and obviously fuses down to do some more additional switching. So yeah, let me know what you think. So before people get carried away, just remember code 3, right? Could the installation be improved? Yeah, I reckon so. Is it potentially dangerous? Nah, I don't think so. But could it be improved? Yeah, sure it could. Control circuit is protected adequately. The final circuits out of the contactor are protected adequately there and there. Single phase board fed from a 3-phase breaker. That's the only thing I don't like. Is it potentially dangerous? Probably not. Nah, not really. It certainly could be improved. Is it potentially dangerous? I don't think so. Is it how I do it? Absolutely not. But yeah, let me know. The other issue, like I said, I've walked you through all of this. Well, the contactor circuit anyway, is that the contactor is dodgy. I got mains at the three-phase board, but only L1 and L2. Didn't get at L3, and I've got no power at the little single-phase board up here. But when I give it a touch, so that's more concerning now. That's, in my opinion, potentially dangerous. Because only a couple of phases on that 3-phase board is energized, and this single phase one isn't energized with everything connected and pulled in. It's obviously deteriorated. It needs replacing. So yeah, I'm not sure if there's machinery on that 3-phase board. There might be. I haven't got to that. I just know it's down there. So, right. L1, L3, L2. So, what are you going to code that if the phases are the wrong way around? Is it potentially dangerous, or could it be improved? Could the installation be improved? It does depend on the final circuits and if they've got any 3-phase gear, or certainly any machinery. I haven't seen any yet, so I'm gonna put it down on my certificate as a code 3. If I see any 3-phase machinery off of this consumer unit, I don't think there is, but I've still got one more consumer unit, which is a sub-board fed off of this board, so I'll check that first. Right, first day all done and dusted. It's always a bit slower on the first day because you're trying to get your head around the layout of the building and trying to locate all the boards and the sub boards and stuff, just to try and get a feel of the place. It is massive, so it does take ages to walk around. So I've got my radios all charged up. I didn't get too much footage yesterday. You saw all I got yesterday. You get what you're given. In respect of inspection, testing and coding, etc., we have, in my opinion, we have guidebooks we work from, right? We don't work to them. They are guidebooks at the end of the day. Now, I'm not saying do whatever you fucking want, but, and there is that Napic code breakers book, which take with a pinch of salt. Like, some things I agree with, some things I don't agree with, right? In that book, some of their codings. It is up to the individual inspector and tester. You're there to give an engineering overview, in your opinion, for the safe and continued use of that installation. So it is up to you. Now, having said all that, there is one thing that annoys me that I've been witness to and I've seen, and that's electricians, when clearly presented with a code 2, they don't give it a code 2 for fear of the repercussions, for fear of the cost implications on the client. And that, in my opinion, is wrong. You just need to grow a pair of balls. You're there to provide an engineering view on the safety of the electrical installation. Next consumer unit. Should be pretty straightforward. I love big EICRs. Can't wait to get stuck into this one. Bring it. I bet that's confused sparks over the years. The older RCBOs and the newer RCBOs were ran the other way around. So neutral, live, neutral, live, neutral, live, live, neutral, live, neutral, live, neutral, neutral, live. Fair play, this spark got them all in the right way around. Our spark's not aware that they're purpose-made frames for floor boxes. Right, this is the next consumer unit to check, to inspect and test, DB3. I've got my little rough sketch of the schedules, of the layout, sorry. All my issues. There's a couple of test results there. Got a little layout of the building. Yeah, getting there. This will all be typed up properly and officially and handed to the client. I always like to do that. I don't charge extra for it. It's always part of it. I always think help the client who is not electrically minded, or not most of the time they're not, and they have some kind of idea of what feeds what, or at least they can hand it to a maintenance employee or any future electricians. Help the next spark out, you know? Right. Oh, pretty much lighting, that's right. Did I mention I love testing? This is years and years of different electricians, no one really caring about the previous spark or the next spark. And that's what I find most of the time, is that the original install is probably good, and then the years and years of other people not caring, and then you end 10, 15 years down the line, you end up with sorry state installs where things have just been lashed in, and it's the same at every board, where the original was probably all right, it's just been added to and no one cares. I see it so often on large commercial sites. Look at that. That one's all found, all typed up. I quickly, obviously when I took the board cover off, didn't know these were in here, just takes you a couple of minutes. I don't know if you're confident with contactors or not. It's very straightforward. And so after a little bit of poking around, obviously I know that A1, A2, there's a switch. I can see the singles go into here. And then there's a link from that contactor to this contactor. And then I also saw an extra brown someone's put in. So clearly, now someone's lashed in a bit of 1mm twin there, neutral in the neutral bar, for another switch to control these contactors. And I have then subsequently found it, the other end of the warehouse, there is another switch that brings on these contactors. They probably wanted to keep all the switches in one area, you know, like a dead man switch, rather than switching off at multiple locations. So we've got, this is a switch, this is the switch that controls contactors, and also there's another one at the end of the warehouse that brings them off and on. And you've got 4 banks of switches. You can just see at the back there. Hard to show you what I mean. There's 1, 2. There's 2 in that one. 3 and 4. And the same over here. Well, they've got 1, 2, 3, and 4, but basically 4 contacts on the bottom. And these are the load contacts going out to the local lighting circuits. And then the contactor is fed. See the contactor at the back there? It's fed. People have just lashed in. They've just used some you know, old three-phase wiring singles, it looks like. See, there's a red, yellow, blue, and well, 2 blues actually. Just there's a cable from L1, L2, and L3, and there's also another blue from that circuit up here to L1, L2. And basically, most of the time, it's doing lighting, and they do it like this, where they remote switch the contactors from another position, so that you haven't got a huge lighting circuit with great big cables because of volt drop going around the warehouse. They'll locally supply the lights via a contactor from various positions around the unit, and then they'll use a contactor circuit that goes all the way around the unit that, when switched on from multiple positions, turns them all on. It saves, like I said, it saves running a huge cable around to all the lights, and it's what they've done here, which obviously it was new to me when I took off the board. But yeah, very common setup. So very straightforward. You got all the supplies from the the fuses and various fuses and RCBOs in the top, and then the outgoing ways are in the bottom here. And then this contactor circuit, you can see, goes in there, flicks it off and on, but it also does it from somewhere else as well, somewhere remotely, the other end of the warehouse, which someone's added on into the A2 contact to bring it on. You can see there's a link between the two contacts there, and there's the original link. Someone's obviously done something later on. But yeah, straightforward setup. It took me a minute just to figure out what they've done here. Yeah, contactors aren't that difficult to get the grips off. There's just a big switch. Yeah, so on to the next board. That's the hum of electrics. One more day to go tomorrow, and we'll be pretty much done. Just going to try and find, there was a few circuits couldn't locate, but it's a big place, so I just moved on to the next circuit. So I've got about 20 something circuits, 24 circuits to test tomorrow, or to locate and then test. Hopefully, if I can't locate them, I'm going to disconnect them and make a note of it and tell the client. They're happy about that. Look at the state of that. It's all still live.
Still dead?
No, it's still live at the moment. That's the one. That's the one what we did then. Look at the state of that.
That's 2L3.
Just hidden and tucked behind in a cupboard. That's a cafe there. 2L3, but that's a time clock which feeds a board. Another unknown circuit located. So just found this circuit, which is a time clock, which then feeds this little old Wilex DB, which then feeds some outside lights. My mate is just going to go and link it at the board. Now we found it.
Link engaged.
.16. They don't make them like they used to. Look at that. Sangamo. This is before my time. I remember I know the Sangamo time clocks, the big round ones. This is obviously pre that, I reckon. Still working as well. I'll just prove it's dead first. But yeah, this is the next one. Brown, grey, black. First thing to notice. It has been isolated upstream of this. Just starting my inspections. These are proper old breakers, these ones. But someone's rewired the board, refed the board. Right on there, it's definitely... There's something dodgy there, isn't there?